podcast. My name is Dave, and today we're going to talk about Big Saturday.
Hi, I'm Ian, and this is, it's an interesting one because we're so fresh out of the event that the battle, especially, all the battles have really
like
blurred.
Like chopped paper of images in my mind.
Yeah, and it was like I didn't really get to meet up with the Navarchers much at all. Really on the Friday, and bear in mind, a whole bunch of people are back. You know, some people can't be there, but there's also Kaylee's come back, and I'm stepping down as captain. I didn't get to go to the Navarchers meeting, so I don't know anything that really happened there. And there's all the drama going on with Iona as well. So there's not going to be any singing a Fly Free, Fly True at the sort of thing we have at the start beforehand. That was so spicy. Being in line, just the little looks all through the event. The little looks, the kind of the sort of barely control, because she plays like a changeling. Like the very kind of the changeling ups and downs. That she does it so well. But so I'm there, and we're doing all the kind of the pre-battle stuff, going over the what it's actually going to be on a command level as well. But I'm not really part of it this time, in that sense, where I'm it's interesting to take a step back and just see how everyone we've got so many competent people, and everyone's we're going to do it this way, we're going to break up into these buddy systems, we're going to these are kind of the people we're moving with. They'd arranged that we were moving with the Dread Shields and Waystone Path.
Nice. And
we were going to be moving as a block, and the idea, I should say, we were fighting against the Jotun, and the idea was that we had to eliminate some banner holders and some heralds.
And we were told specifically not to execute anyone.
Yes, that caused some very spicy stuff, where obviously we, as Navari, kill the Jotun.
We kill the Jotun.
Yeah, we kill them. And they kill us.
And we understand that.
Isn't that a really fun aspect of play, actually, where the Jotun literally treat us differently than all the other nations?
Yeah.
They'll literally kill us all and execute us all. And that's really fun.
But we're like, we're ready to do that, right?
Yeah.
We all... I should say, I'm a senator now. I don't really have a battle block.
You should say... the number of times you say, I should say I'm a senator now.
And I don't really have a block since we left the Entwined Paths. I haven't had a block for a long time, because I was ill.
Yeah, dude.
So I decided that I would be a free floating unit. So
I saw you a bunch of little moments, snippets. Again, it just these strange little flashes of imagery of Gellet somewhere in the line.
Yeah, it was me and Agni.
Yeah,
and we were running around, and Orion joined us, and we were just the three of us, and I was chilling around, giving the soldiers some words of encouragement, work together, don't die, some words of encouragement. And then, it was kind of just fun, kind of being a bit of a senator, trying to put my face to some sort of public thing, What's that like in the battle? Because, obviously, you're a figure in the nation, right? Not at all.
No,
I do not give military instructions.
No, but what I mean is, do people look at you differently? What's the experience like when you're... No?
Not at all.
Oh, strange, because when I... obviously, because you're my mate, but I was wondering, because when I see you, I'm always he's over there, I can see him, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
No, okay, I wasn't sure if, there was any, big upping... Because I know with the generals, we... as a fawn...
I had one guy say, nice shield, as I walked past.
Right, okay.
That is the summon to...
Although I think actually you'd be surprised, because from my perspective, if I saw a senator or a general down, right, I'm moving forces to help them.
But I wander around a lot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to help out in different areas, trying to get a gauge on what's going on. We should talk about the actual battle.
Yeah.
We advance up. We start hitting them. They're in the woods, but quite far back.
Yeah.
There's an engagement on the field area, which happens halfway up the field.
Mm-hmm.
The Imperial forces basically just slowly grind their way round. Not even slowly.
Yeah.
At medium speed.
Yeah.
Top them round. We start pushing them back in the woods because they're going to get into a crush. we get some nice sweet kills. They managed to bug out, get through the gate. It was a good little fight, wasn't it?
That was really nice. Actually, the push up the field was great. Moving with Navarre, and I say we were in this block with the dread shields. You have like a banner and the Waystone Path, and like they're quite fast moving, quite hard hitting. Like, you know, armor, clank, shields, spears, like all the things you want. And we're running behind them as a, you know, I mean, I've got like, oh yeah, I've been paired up with Brambox in the buddy system, and this is like OC, sorry, like IC, sorry, in the like conversation, we kind of arranged it where like she'd never fought before, and this was like her first battle, and she'd been like sneaking out and taking shots with this bow, like borrowing it, and then she asked if I could sort of sneak a bow in for her to use, kind of thing, like all in character zone. It was like at the event, like I give her a bow, and then she's got, you know, it was really fun, and then like she was my buddy in the buddy system. It was so fun because it was like...
Describe what it's like having a buddy in the buddy system.
It's nice because you just got someone else to like look out for and move with, and actually just communicate like, we're going to go here, let's engage these things. We can help each other, like gather arrows, take turns in like one person's checking their arrows while the other person's still engaging, and then the other person go back and check their arrows. You can organise things.
It's kind of like me and Agni. I stopped along and I executed a fellow, an orcish chap, and then as we came through the gate, after we busted through the gate and came into the coppice area, there was a guy dying there, and Agni wanted to execute him. But it was a long, drawn-out process, and
she extracted
a little uncomfortable at times. Like, brevity is a thing. Just get on with it. Don't just stick the knife in him in a non-fatal area. That won't help anything. But yeah, we executed a few folks.
Yeah, Agony's so good, by the way. Like, the RP is so good. Like,
well, it's funny because we'll move around, and when things are like looking really fucking sketchy, where you see like, oh, you're about to get encircled, you basically just get the hell out of there, go somewhere else, help out wherever. It's really fun.
It's fun, man. Actually, well, battle maging I found on the next day, so I'll get into it more then. But it's just a lot of fun. Actually, you guys have actually quite a lot of fun.
Well, I have not. I got some cool armor from Orion, and I got a cool wand from Orion. And basically, I can cast Repel.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm really excited about this. Do I get to repel anyone? Not at all. No one was repelled, and I was so disappointed.
How come? Was it so you can get to the front? Or?
Well, it was a weird fight because things would be like static line fights, which is when I should have used it, but it was all kind of like quite busy.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it was like most people wanted to be on that line, or you're running around in the open with your bum in the air.
It was, you know what? This is one of the weird things in the fight, because we end up not actually achieving our objective, which is to kill all of these VIPs, essentially.
We failed.
We
we lost a flag, which we were supposed to keep safe, because they would release slaves if we kept the flag in battle.
God, was it more war games?
It's bad, dude.
Don't get me started.
Really bad. It was an absolute it was a slam dunk. Like, to be like, we'll just hold on to this banner. Okay, sweet. It's so easy. Just keep it safe, and that's and we lost it somehow. It's brutal.
I'm like, genuinely, every engagement I was involved in, we were winning. It constantly felt like we were like moving forward. We did this take of this fort at one point, and it was just like, I don't know, like this one guy basically charges the breach, takes like this kind of opening, and then I'm just like, there's me and like 12 other people, and I was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, we drive in, and like we just swept the whole fort. I mean, we're not talking loads of people, but it was like the swiftness of taking it and moving through was so, and just the like it genuinely, I was like, yeah, we must be really killing it, right? Like I felt like I was doing well. I felt like everyone around me was doing really well. I just think like we completely failed to get the objectives.
There was some wacky respawns, and not wacky. I shouldn't say wacky. It's actually really good, but there's a lot of times when me moving around the battlefield, that you had these like little think of them like little worms in this cheese, and they're moving around. And often, like sometimes, regularly, I saw imperial backs and Jotun backs,
right,
in a space, and like neither side would have noticed because they're both pushing their little bit.
Yeah.
And then ever so often things would be realised, and then it would turn into like a crazy madcap fight. It was like.
It was
really
so
interesting.
good. Like I was actually really impressed with Navarre, which is basically all I ran with for the whole battle.
There's at the start of the battle there was like just that you could feel that lack of leadership. There was no Black Scar there as well. But
I don't think it was like there was any generalship problem. I think it was more
no,
like
I'm talking generalship. I'm talking about like sergeants.
Yeah,
right?
I think we had a chat about this afterwards, like just general military stuff, and there was like, it's so hard to get that sub level, the people who communicate along the line and do all of that kind of stuff, like the non-hat positions, right? That it's like, but like I don't know, I just felt we were just kicking ass. Just
we
information
did really well.
Wasn't flowing.
We did really well, especially with how kind of those.
I think everyone was worried, right, because we had lost these huge figures. And
it could have been like, let me put it this way, to come out the way it was, I was really happy.
Yeah.
Like I think, how many did we lose? 12, 13? Which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
But for how it could have gone.
It was a tough fight as well. Like the Jotun was super hardcore. Like you've got loads of.
It was also really hot.
Really hot. But yeah, I thought it was a really good battle. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. So head back. We had Fawn's Council again.
Yeah. So again, Fawn's Council. It was fun stepping out again and announcing Fawn's Council at standing, and the vibe was very different. It was kind of like it was nice. I felt like I had because I had the brand at that stage. It was nice to be like, yeah, that's it was kind of a different kind of vibe where people they respect it, right?
You do the crime, you do the
actions have consequences.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the things we need to do was get a new training captain, because obviously with our current training captain becoming general, we need a new one. It was so nice to see people who'd obviously been doing it for a while and helping out for a while. Just because it's kind of like an IC thing, because it's genuinely like OC helpful kind of stuff and organising it all. But actually, just all the RP that happens, IC, and then all of the actual, actually doing it, right? I mean, when you're doing an activity and you're doing the thing, it's actually quite a big role, right? It was fun to see a new one elected and all the people step forward for it and be involved in it, and then just to run the rest of council. It was just nice. It was just a really nice vibe, just like bringing people in. And at that stage, it was like, because I was aware Gale coming back, he's going to be voice of Fawns again. I genuinely really enjoyed it, and I was like, yeah, I just loved doing the second session of it.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's really good that you're into this really nationally focused game and you're all up in there, and it's really, really fun to watch you kind of like navigate all this kind of attention and you got kidnapped. That's hilarious.
It's so funny,
dude. So I had Senate.
Yeah.
At 4:00. I thought Senate might be at 2:00 for some reason, and I'd been invited to a wedding.
Right.
So Bungle's my proxy, and it was like, hey, Bung, here's how we're voting on the throne.
Yeah.
Here's the things that we're voting to. Everything else, use your discretion on.
Right.
And you tap in. Now, this would be like pretty good, like senatoring to proxying, just to give them a run out.
Yeah.
A few ideas what to do, but generally like just trust your instincts and stuff. It was boiling hot, and he had to stand in the Senate for like 2 hours, more than 2 hours. It was a fucking long time. Oh my god!
Speaking with him when he came back, because he was exhausted when he came back, but like, Bung has just been magnificent, hasn't he?
Mate, he
the actual character of Gaius Keys, he goes by both. So much fun, like watching him like operate, right? Because he's no nonsense. which is kind of funny because there's a bit of nonsense in both you and me, our characters. But Gaius is just like really straightforward, total badass. I love the vibe he gives off.
Well, he left Senate cursing my name as Gellert because he made the sun for so long.
He did,
but
yeah.
I went to a lovely wedding.
Detail
in the Brass Coast, and it was fucking magical. I got to see 2 players getting married, and they had like a you all sat down like a theatre. I had to crouch because it was the middle of the sun, and I didn't get a seat, so I had to like crouch behind. But they were really happy that I'd actually arrived, because they were like, "Oh, I thought you'd have like Senate things to do," and I was like, "Don't worry, I've got a proxy. Wouldn't miss it for the world." Then they had this master of ceremonies, and she was just such a fucking girl boss. She was like so fucking good at being someone giving a like giving away a couple, and it was so fucking feels. And Agni was my +1, and then through the ceremony, okay, they had like it was so fucking cute, Ian. It makes my heart hurt, you know.
So the characters, you know them well, or they're kind of
we're friends,
yeah,
and it's like it's really cute.
That's so cool, dude.
During the ceremony, Agni's like, "I want to get married," and I'm like, "I want to get married," and she was like,
amazing.
"Oh," she's like, "We marry each other," and I'm like, "No, there's no Agni.
Yeah.
There's no way we're getting married. Okay, like just forget about that. That's never gonna happen. Like, I'm a good boss, you know." And Agni got like, you know, she was like, "Oh man, I'm never gonna get married." So I was like, "Okay, fine. Like, write this down. Find Agni a husband. Okay, we're gonna do that, and then it's gonna be an issue because it's affecting your work right now. So we basically just need
your
to go
relationship
and find
with each other is so good.
We need to get you married, so it won't interrupt your work."
Like, because you've got this thing where like Gellert respects the like, I don't know how to say it anyway, like the quality of Agni, right? And he just wants her to run at maximum efficiency all the time.
All the time. She needs to, otherwise this whole operation will fail, you know?
It's like oh dude, it's like
no
the way you
distractions.
both RP the different sides of that, where she's like she's RPing someone who's being hard driven, is like so fun to see the dynamic. And I think the way you kind of work with each other, because obviously OC, it's totally not like that, and it's like it's really fun. And I think this is one thing I kind of learned through the parts of my game, where you kind of have those little looks and little kind of, I don't know, like micro check-ins, you know what I mean, where you're like seeing
we laugh all the time.
Yeah.
But so that was the wedding was fucking magical. We had a lovely time, had a couple of drinks. We even got like sweets as a present.
So cool.
It was a lovely fucking do. We even got songs from where's he from? He's Dornish. He's wonderful. He's really good. I can't remember his name. What's his name? You'd know him.
Yeah.
He's the really handsome, talented one.
There's a lot of handsome, talented ones. That's the problem.
He's super handsome and super talented, and it's really annoying. And he did a really good fucking like 3-4 songs.
Oh, dude,
and they were really good.
That's
really
great.
Fucking good.
That's
and
great.
like, you know, it's like when you're like, oh, I get to be like front row to like someone really killing it. You're like, oh man, this is fucking.
That's
awesome.
cool. That's really cool. I love all those moments actually. There's been a whole bunch of them these last few sort of events, but this one in particular was just a whole bunch of points where I was just like, just really enjoying just sitting down and watching like my friends and people I don't know just absolutely boss it.
Dude, a lot of this is like I did that, and then I headed back to Senate, and I can't go into Senate because so
only the proxy or you
I
can
try
be in,
and
right?
get Bung a drink, and I'm like, so I know he's not going to turn immediately for like Keys or Gaius. I was like, Bung! And if you get in a whole heap of trouble if you interrupt fucking Senate or speak over it, okay?
Yeah.
I couldn't get his attention. I was like, fuck. But he stood there in the beaming fucking sun for like 2 hours.
Wow.
It was brutal. He did the vote for the throne, like all that good shit. Like, he got to do it. And I basically, when I spoke to him afterwards, he was like, I was like, how was it? How'd you find it? And it's like, well, and I was like, but without like being standing in the fucking sun the entire time. He was like, without standing in the sun, it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
With the sun, it fucking sucked.
I think not having a roof on Senate it's so hard because it is the place where people stand around a lot.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like ultimately people want to engage in that part of the game. I understand obviously these things are logistically challenging, but it's like I think that seemed like really that's hardcore, right? Like that's genuinely something that I would struggle with.
Yeah, it's he did like a champ,
dude. Yeah. No, he was amazing.
He was a red man,
and I was actually like listening to his stories when he came back. Again, there's this kind of like third person thing where I have no idea what's actually going on.
Oh, I also. So in this little roundabout turn I go and see the Reapers. Okay, and my good friend Nico, who always helps me out when I have problems that are bigger than me. Is do you know Violet's character's name?
Oh God, I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry, Violet.
Yeah, but she's there.
Yeah, and
she's a big mover and shaker from the Brass Coast.
Yeah.
And they're sitting down together having a conversation. And everything looks very official around them while they're having a conversation. So I go in and I like come out and I'm like, I was like, when I came in, I was like, oh, it's so good to see you, my two friends, like together.
Can you speak about this?
Yeah, because some things are public.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I think they're public. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it.
Podcast listeners, we're just going to take a brief break because I want to really check that we need to do this.
Editing Dave has to do stuff. All right, Editing Dave, now. And we're back. Yeah, I can't talk about that.
Okay, but it's very cool. It's very cool.
But that was fun, and I was like, huh, and it was fun. But
I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. Maybe you can.
No, so. You're right. I only saw a little something, so I don't have much on it.
I feel so bad from going from one of your stories now into nix it to going to one of mine.
Go into one of your stories.
Okay,
Ian.
So I'm passing through the league, and all of a sudden. Uncle Nietzsche steps out and announces that there's going to be a performance of, I forget the name of the play, but it's something like The Viper or something in the Peacock Theatre. And I'm like, I'm all in. I'm definitely doing this. I step in and we're watching this whole play. Me and Quill are all there. And Nietzsche, like, we're having banter, like, from the middle of the stage, him talking to me. Like the other actors and stuff, I'm passing around bubbles to all the crowd and stuff, so people have got some. It starts kind of building up in there, and then they do this absolutely wonderful theatre performance about like it's essentially like a kind of like how a Christmas Carol has the three ghosts who come and visit, but like I won't spoil it, but like with a viper and a twist.
A viper and a twist.
And it was so genuinely fun.
Dude, I went to a play at 8:00, so I don't know when this was. Obviously not at 8:00. But I went to a play in the theatre as well.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I'd lost my wallet, so I had no money at this point. But I sat in there, and it was so good. It was a play about the best actor in the league or whatever.
Oh my God, that was
his story.
I got invited to this one. I really wanted to go to this one.
It was fucking awesome. It was really good, and like people in the crowd started standing up and joining in, and they were actors, and it was like, oh man, there's actors in the crowd. That's fucking awesome. The narrative was really fun. The performances from everyone was really good. It's so wholesome in the fucking theatre, isn't it?
It was incredibly well done. They've got like a bar there as well.
Dude, it's
just
so
so
nice
good.
Time.
It's so good.
Reminds me, I need to go and pay them next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Jesus.
Get in touch with Agni. Get her to write it down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Agni, write this down. Go pay the National Theatre for one performance.
So I'm going to bring this up now because I don't want to forget it, and I'm not sure about where this is in the timeline in reality.
Yeah.
But I'm walking down the track in the VAR. Bear in mind, I'm still venomed. And so that means that if I'm taken down, I have 30 seconds, right? And I'm walking along and all of a sudden I feel this jibbing in my back, right? So I'm getting ready to prepare, like, I'm getting shanked. I spin round. It's Owen, right? And he's like in his ref sort of clothing and stuff, and we just had this really wholesome chat. And his genuine, like, excitement and enthusiasm, and just, like, I don't know, just seeing him happy and, like, you know, enjoying, like, bear in mind, I haven't genuinely not had that many chats, IC, OC with him, but just, like, just to sort of have that moment of connection with a player like that was just like, oh, that's
He's
so nice, dude.
Yeah, like...
an absolute legend.
I would say, like, rest in peace, Brenos, but it's more like, don't rest in peace, like, run really fast through the labyrinth, and...
Yeah, I think he's going to do reffing for a few seasons, and, I don't know, like, he just seems so happy.
Dude,
like, I think it's a great story, dude, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, oh man, dude, I've actually lost myself on here. Okay, yeah, then, I literally hadn't had a chance, basically, to hand out these information sheets that I'd made. I'd done a few the night before, but I still had a massive whack of them, right? And I was like, I made these for the purpose that they would help people sort of, you know, be informed. So I just, like, started going around and just passing them out, because I had no time to do it any other way, just to, like, groups, like, have you got people interested on skirmishes, you have got people who are new, stuff like that, and just giving them these things and literally just going through and just depleting them. And it was so nice, like, to actually get them out, and, like, the responses were really positive, and I think I'm gonna do them for, like, every season.
Sounds great. I want one.
Yeah, I think they were kind of, it was nice. It was like I had some people approach me and, like, have these awesome, like, icy conversations with me about them and stuff. It was really fun. So that was a really nice little highlight, actually, just to go around the nation and just, like, be efficient, be productive, right?
Very helpful, like you are in real life.
So one of the problems with this was I'd kind of lost track of time, and also it was, like, super hot.
Okay, so it's hot and you've lost track of... What did you do?
I missed out on the funeral for Ash, who's, like, the fallen hero who's basically Iona's kind of lost love, and she'd asked me to go to the funeral, and I didn't go. And it's so bad, dude. It was so bad, and there'd been drama all the way through the event so far, like the little looks, like this was an opportunity, this was an olive branch, right,
dude?
It was so bad.
That's really bad.
That's really bad, right? So, basically, me and Orion got this offer to go and perform at the Blind Eye in the marches where I'd been previously held.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was the offer was for Orion, really, but he asked if I'd go with him. I was totally up for it. It was also a great opportunity to literally go back to the Blind Eye and interact with all of the guards there again. It was so much fun. So we're heading over there to do that. There's some bigwig thing going on there, because they've got a really nice setup in there. So someone's hired it out, and there's, like, properly guards everywhere and stuff. And they're like, we'll get you on right after this, and we'll announce it, like, in the league and stuff, and bring like a crowd in and things. So they'd like just go and, you know, grab a drink for yourself at one of the other pubs while we're doing it. It was just such a cool vibe. But we go to this other pub in the marches, and I saunter in, and I'm in full talus, you know, and I turn around, and Iona's there with, like, all of the silver Fletchers in the pub. And, like, she confronts me, and she comes at me so, like it was just, like, the prize turned to hubris and arrogance and self-indulgence and all this kind of stuff. It was so good.
I love it.
It was so good. I was so crushed by it. And then it was like, bear in mind, and like, then they all stand up and leave, right? And they're like, I no longer want to stay here. They all just, like, leave, and like it was so good and so dramatic, and I was just like, oh no. So at this stage, we're, like, a little bit before well, no, we sit down and we have drinks because like I'm
because fuck it. What are you gonna do, man?
Like, and then I'm sort of sitting there and we're kind of
so bad.
We're sitting there and I'm just like the whole time I'm speaking with Orion. We're like getting ready on the set list and stuff, and I'm just like I'm in a full Talos headspace. I'm just like this is real bad. So I'm like I have to go, and this is like 15 minutes before the set, and I'm like I dash back to camp. I run past this. Well, run. A jog. No,
you were moving fast.
Moving swifter than normal. Shuffling. I was hustling back towards the Ashbourne camp.
Yeah.
It was probably just a swift stride, let's be honest.
Okay.
But as I walk past, I hear these calls from Benno DeCarve, who's a good friend of ours. And I was just like, I felt so bad, but I had to literally be like, I'm so sorry, I have to go. I've got performance in 15 minutes. Come and watch us, but I've got to go, kind of thing. I felt so rude because it's like it's Callum. I genuinely want to spend some time with Callum. But I run back, I grab the bow, and I go over to Iona's camp and the Silver Fletch camp, and I just like place the bow down there and like walk away, and then I have to run back and do the gig. The gig. My gosh, doing the gig with Orion was so much fun. Like, we step out into the stage. They give us a really cool welcome. Like the cheers. They literally said they did what they said they'd do. Like, and go out and get people in. We started off with probably like a crowd of like 10, 12. But it was like by the end, it was like there was a lot of people there. You're talking like maybe like 30 people, who knows, right? Like, which is quite a big crowd, like biggest crowd I've ever performed to, right? And I'm like emceeing essentially. I tell them the story about Ifan Ashbourne, who's my 14-inch lizard, my wonderful iguana, and like all about him. And I kind of get people to sort of like hold him and protect him and stuff because I've taken him over there. And I hand out little bubble packs to everybody. And then I get us to start then like MC into Orion's first song, and I mean, what I really like is that like I think Orion like he plays this character like this kind of like low key bard, but Quill is like a really cool character, right? When he starts just like jamming in to like the songs and stuff, you get a really great vibe of who he is.
Yeah, he's. It's pretty special when he picks up a guitar and starts singing, right?
Yeah, it's just like, and like he's a friend, right? Seeing like someone you love that's like do well is just like awesome. And I literally all I did was like prance about a bit and like join in on like chorus stuff because he obviously knows all the songs, right? And just sway about, man. And yeah, just try and hype him up. But it was so full credit to him. He was amazing. We did like a good few songs. I couldn't say how many, but like maybe like sort of 8 songs, maybe.
That's a lot of songs.
That's quite a lot, right? Like maybe, yeah. I reckon it was probably about 8 songs. It was great.
Yeah. During the middle of the day when it was really hot, I tried to find a couple of different people. One of them was the advisor to the Fenny, and through asking around where they might be, managed to find where they camped. Kind of invited ourselves in, sat down in the league, and then he showed up, and it was awesome. So we managed to ask. Basically, I sat there and it was like, I just asked some questions. Endless questions about what his thoughts are, what's going on, what repercussions this will have, like... what
anything in particular, or is it stuff you can't talk about?
Probably shouldn't talk about. But, like, I don't think any of it was state secret. But it was more like,
just fun.
I'm the governor of Arkansas. I need to get fucking briefed on the security threat in Hakinia, right? So I just asked questions and then got lots of answers.
That's cool.
And basically, I spoke to a few people this weekend, and a lot of the conversations were like, "This is very important. Okay, we'll talk about it," and then be like, "What are you doing about it?" "I'm doing this." I'm like, "That sounds exactly the right course of action. Let me know if you need me." Like really.
How do you handle like because it must just be like getting information? Is it just a case of you like having to go all over the place, or do you have people who you can ask to go and get you information? Like, how does the network of information work generally? Like, just because obviously you can't be everywhere at once, and you're like people want to find you. Like this is the other thing. A bunch of times people came up and they were looking for you, right?
I think honestly, the most things that were on my biggest radar were people that had interacted with me either by letters or by coming to physically see me.
Sure.
A lot of the stuff that I was thinking about was like, well, I was doing with my motion and my second, I'd already sorted that fairly early, so that was like a load off my shoulders. So then I could just start the general business of politicking. Like I wanted to talk to both, like two of the phone candidates that I really like. I will leave it at that and be like, well, which one of these do I want to actually do it? You know,
it's fascinating from the outside because I constantly, like, really all I hear about is results and outcomes, right? I don't hear, and like occasionally drama, right? Like through my kind of things, I'll hear about so and so. I hear a little bit of gossip or whatever, which is just fantastic. Especially when you hear about people you genuinely don't know, like so and so in Dawn or whatever, is like, you know, all this kind of stuff, and then but all I really hear are like the decisions that you make. I don't see any of the actual politicking that's going on. Okay. You know what I mean?
So this is awkward. And actually, I don't even know if I can say this on the podcast, but they do this cool thing, okay? At the start of each Senate, they say, like, are there any new senators here?
Right.
And then this guy stepped forward, and I was like, well, no, I did it for, like, Saturday evening, which I should have been at, but I missed it. And then Sunday, I did the afternoon one. But they never mentioned it. So when I went, I didn't know there was you make a little oath in front of everyone.
Oh, okay.
So I quickly said the words along with the guy that was actually doing it at the back of the room. I was like, sweet, that's probably good enough. And then, I still haven't done it. I don't know whether that's important or not.
Yeah, that sounds quite important.
It does sound quite
Navari
important.
are pretty strict behind their oaths, dude.
Well, yeah, I said the words. I said the words.
Yeah,
and I'm doing it.
But the words need to be seen, right? That's the whole point.
The guy next to me was
With Tallis and Gellert are very different.
But yeah, so I got to speak to the Fenny guy. The Fenny guy, that's terrible.
That is actually terrible.
The advisor to the Fenny.
Yes.
Very, very good. Really good, by the way, like as a player. Like full of
I've heard really good things, actually.
Yeah, just really solid. Actually, the whole camp. We cleared the camp with our conversation. So I want to apologise to the people that were there, that were driven into the baking heat because of the conversation.
Oh, because you had to have it secretly?
No, because it was so boring to listen to that people were like, oh my god, politics has come here. Then I wanted to speak to the spy master. He was up for re-election. I had put my motion in to do the election for that. So basically I had a chat with him about what's going on, how he feels about the election, like what he's been up to, try and get some information. And what was funny was, it was so hot and Dugdale doesn't really have like an office.
Right.
So he literally just jumps into other people's camps and has meetings. And we're in the same tent as the advisor to the Fenny, who's now left.
Yeah.
And now we're using his tent for a quick powwow about what's going on with his stuff and my stuff. A little power chat, you know? And then
it's crazy, like the very different elements of play that we stumble into.
Yeah, it was really fucking hot. And I remember I split up from my entourage at that point because I went to get some. They had already left. Didn't know where they went. Somewhere in Eurozone. And then so I went and got some food and then headed back. And food was so smart and big and clever.
Food was yet again a problem. So I'm still like, I'm on the end of the performance, and I'm like, the applause is all coming in. The captain is sitting like in the crowd, like back on one of the back tables, right? And I'm calling out to him and all this kind of stuff, and he's shaking his head, and he's like, "Get off the stage, tell us." It's so good. It was so it was just like so much fun, the whole event. I should have said earlier when I left the first time, I was like thanking them so much for their company, and that I was definitely going to come back, and that I was overjoyed of the chance of seeing the captain again. And he was like, "We've enjoyed your company so much, tell us you never need to come back." Like, it was all this kind of stuff. It was so good.
I thought those guys looked the business. I loved the RP with them. Just the vignette of a bunch of surly Navari taking the piss out of them while they stand in the woods, while there's like murdering hobos like hanging around behind every tree, and like who knows what could happen. Talos could be making his way out of the back of the tent to run away. So good,
man. So, but the thing is, after that, I basically headed back to. I hadn't eaten, right, as you say, right. So I was like, okay, I'm going to head back, just chill for a bit, and get some food. And then I get this offer from Bramble to come and have a hot dog. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So me and Orion again, we go and head back and have this hot dog at the Waystone Path, right? And this is from Bramble. She's caught up with me on the field and it's like, have you eaten? I was like, no. And she's like, come and have a hot dog. I was like, man, this sounds amazing. I head back. The problem is their camp is like 2 doors down from Iona's camp.
I'm on Iona's side.
I know you should be. By the way, everyone should be on Iona's side. Like, so I head down there, and I'm having a sausage. I'm in that state, where you're like absolutely knackered, and you'll just accept any food at any moment.
Okay.
And I'm getting this fully loaded hot dog in my hands, right?
And you're just gonna shove it in your.
And it's about to begin, and then she turns up with the bow and all the silver fletches, and like calls me out. And it's like she doesn't want it, and basically is like calling me out, and then she snaps the bow, and then she's like, if you can remake it and give it to somebody worthy, I'll sing for you again, like for the Navachas. So I'm just like, it was so dramatic, and it was so awesome, right? And then she just basically laid into me like publicly, like. How like my pride had turned into hubris and arrogance, and that like she couldn't be bought off, and all this kind of stuff. It was so bad, and I was like, I said to her,
"You go, girl." I'm like,
completely
100%
right
behind this person.
I was like, everything you say about me is true. Like.
You were like,
I fully copped up to it because it's like
you missed the funeral. I can't believe
I know,
you missed the
so
funeral.
Bad, dude.
That is so bad. Like that is
after it was given as an olive branch to actually re-earn trust. Right, I missed the funeral. It was so bad.
I missent it and sent a proxy for the throne vote because I had to go to a wedding.
So like I had this idea kind of in my head of where I am, like what's going on in like how Talos feels, right, about the things that are going on and where he is in like this narrative space, right?
It's had a rough weekend,
right? But I was kind of thinking like he's proud of his actions, right? He feels like he's done something like
obviously
courageous, right? Like
obviously.
He's and all this kind of stuff. He actually has like fairly positive thoughts about what happened, right? He's had some answers as well, which is what he's been searching for, about who he is and where his place is. And he's got this whole kind of vibe going. And then he's actually like, oh no, I am the bad guy. Like, I am an asshole. Like, it was so good to be like, oh no, there's actually this whole other side of Talos, right? That is basically like, all of this grander stuff is like performative in a sense, maybe. And maybe like the friendships, the things that the things that actually is in jeopardy is the thing that he like it's like crushing, right? That he like might lose like a friend, and like so it's just like the drama was so good. It was like what it did was it just elevated the drama of everything on like a personal level, right? Because it's actually like. It's a thing which like has to be rebuilt, right? Like or an attempts have to be made. It was like so good.
Are you an artisan?
No, so I had to go and get it repaired.
Okay.
I literally had to go through all the things to get it done. I won't really go through the whole thing, but it was like, just having it done and then handing it off. Well, that's for the next day. That's for Sunday. But it was
did they physically break it?
No.
Okay, I was going to
mimed out.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I was like, how far does this go?
No. They mimed it out.
That's much better. So you had to get in touch with artisans.
Get it thing. I just spoke to them, and they did the thing, right? It was just RP, basically. But it was so fun. It was just But like as well, straight after this, right? Because I'm just like, I have this hot dog. And when she leaves, she's like, enjoy your hot dog, right? As I'm holding it in my hands, right? And it's so harsh and brutal.
Now
like
you
an
can't
absolute...
enjoy anything about your hot
Oh,
dog.
it was so good. I mean, and she gave me this lovely sort of like quick smile on the way out, right? Because it's like, it was all like cool role play, and I was just like, oh, that was so good. Like, it was like, it's everything you want from an RP moment.
How's
right?
the hot dog?
The hot dog was fucking amazing. Like, it was absolutely incredible. I sat there just genuinely. I just like, because I had no idea how it was all going to actually work. That's a really important thing to say. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen this whole event. Right? Like, was it just going to be like a couple of people sort of like saying a few things and that's it? But it actually turned into like this whole thing the whole way through, and I was just sitting there, eating my hot dog, being like, wow, this has been so much fun, and people have been so excellent. And to be honest with you, I just never stopped RPing. The whole event.
You were like a wind-up toy. You fucking just go. Like, your energy levels must have been insane. Like,
It was literally like every moment I'm pretty much in character. That's how it felt like. I was constantly like just in it all the time. And I was just riding it so hard. It was great. I loved it so much. Yeah. But on the way out, because I'm like, I eat this hot dog and I'm like, okay, I have to get this bow fixed, right? So I start heading off, and someone starts following me. And this all might be complete silliness.
Paranoid Ashbourne.
Paranoid. But I was also like, afterwards I've kind of reflected on it and been like, that's kind of weird, because I venomed myself with the idea of if someone wants to try, I won't stop them. Mm-hmm. And yet I'm not standing still and letting them come towards me, but I'm still walking away.
You've got to earn
keeping distance. I don't know if it, but I wasn't sure if maybe it was like, maybe it was that, or maybe it was like, actually, I don't want to die. Right? Like, it was a weird headspace, but it was just, and then I did a whole bunch of turns and this person was still there. It might be complete paranoia, but it was awesome. But what was great about it was some of the people who look out for me, one of them came up to me and just started talking to me. And then I didn't see this person anymore. And that was amazing. Like it might be, there's one of those things in LARP where you've no idea what's going on. Like, it's all might just be headcanon. But that was an awesome experience.
Even the paranoia is good, right?
Yeah. But the fact that the person came up and spoke to me, and then that person was gone, and I never saw them leave as well. Like, when I turned around, they weren't there anymore, and I never saw them again. It was just as a cool little RP moment. That was so much fun.
Love it.
So what's this about Jonathan Fresher? Oh, no, sorry. Oh, yes, of course. And then... Oh, God, there's so many things that happened. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So after that, I managed to circle my way back into the bar. I've done a whole bunch of things on the way, which I won't kind of go into. But I sit down, and Jonathan Fresher, who's this marcher, comes up to us, and he wants the box back, which has the Chain of the Mournwald in it, which is basically this story that he told us back at a previous player event. And when he saw me getting, with the whole reckoning thing in the league, he approached me afterwards and basically handed me this box with this chain in, saying that, like, retold me the story, and was basically, I want this back next summit when you've had time to reflect on everything.
And it's a chunky piece of metal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a triple thickness piece of chain. I don't know if we should really actually say, but anyway, it's very cool. It's an awesome story.
It weighs a ton.
And it's like, it's got this symbolic story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like, he comes and collects it from me, and then we all happen to be there in camp, and he just tells us the story of it again. Wasn't it cool just to have a moment where we just had like a redo of that conversation, but how his opinion and how our opinions over time, like how those things had come to a different place? It was so interesting.
Well, I just love it as RP.
Yeah.
Like, a very heavy thing. Bear in mind, I've got the very heavy horse head, which I've decided that I'm going to try and keep out whenever I'm doing any politicking. Just having something... I like the very baseball bat in the face
totems
metaphor
kind of, stuff, right?
of like, this is a heavy weight. This is what you must think about while you shouldn't be comfortable while making big decisions, right? And it's kind of cool.
I like it, dude. That's really cool. And you kind of hold it while you're in Senate, right?
Yeah. And give it a little rub. Give the little head a rub.
I think that's such like I love all these little character affectations. I don't know about you, like how you kind of find who the character is and what they do, like what their little mannerisms are.
We talk about sometimes when we're playing role play games that like the character just comes out and says a couple of lines, okay?
Yeah.
And it's like we love this idea where we're talking about it and it's like, oh man, ever so often when you're really deep into some RP, you have such a good idea of who your character is, they just like start saying some shit that is completely not what you would ever think about.
Yeah.
Like really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like, and just, I think you've done it really well because, like, on the sense you've got like my stuff's very big and brash and like as say kind of performancey kind of style stuff. It's very dramaturgy almost. But you've added all these subtle little bits to who Gellert is.
Dude, I'm so much more relaxed now than I used to. This whole weekend I was like so much more relaxed. Like I stopped carrying the world on my shoulders and was like, here are the things I can hear, like help. Here are people that come into me with projects or ideas. I'll listen to everyone and I'll try and be as informed as I can and try and do the right thing. I should mention Jim's character,
right? Yeah.
After hearing that I'd lost my coin purse,
right,
was like, can't have the scientific in here walking around empty-handed, and he gave me a throne.
Amazing.
And I was like, sweet, I'll pay you back, and then set off. Oh, I should also say I paid Agni earlier in the day.
Right. So it's you can justify it. It's like was it kind of guilt money? Is how we roughly kind of
Orion. Going to Quill was going to pay Agni a throne.
Right.
Agni refused to take it.
Right.
So I took the throne off Quill
and handed it over.
And then gave it as payment to Agni.
Right. There is actually this really cool dynamic in the Ashbourne where like we all have such subtly different parts of the game and in our ways like very
subtly
different parts of the game.
I love the way you use subtly in any part of your game, Ian. It's
But like, I think you, Bung, and Orion and John, like...
Oh, dude, I'm loving the Ashbourne. I think like it's small groups doing lots of things. It's pretty exciting.
Dude, it's so cool. And like, we kind of have this whole thing where like, you know, Quill's the guy with the money, right, in the group, and like who actually might have a few resources. And if anyone has done anything competent prosperity-wise, it's him.
Well, you say that, but Keys had a few coins.
Yeah, that's actually
Agni
really true.
Had a bunch of money.
Oh no, actually, like with Keys taking over the purses of the striding, that's been really cool. Bung's been killing it. But yeah, it's so fun seeing like Orion and Bung and John, like all the spy stuff, or not a spy stuff.
No, he's not a spy.
But that was so great.
So I headed off to that play in the league. It was the one about the best actor in the league. It was fucking phenomenal. Please go visit the fucking. To be fair, it was full.
Yeah, the theatre is amazing.
Like,
I'm definitely going to go more. 100%. That was so good.
It's just such like, and I love the fact I'm like, I learned something new today, and then I get on the rest of my day. It's like really good.
Dude,
take
it's
time
so
to enjoy
done.
yourself by going to the play. I went to the Senate. There was a spy master election.
Right.
Can't talk about it. That happened. Doug Dale got elected. It's public record.
Yeah.
There was giving Spiral to the league.
That was... Look.
I think it was this session.
Yeah, it was.
And it's like, oh my god, Spiral, the Black Plateau, Urizen been spending a lot of lives trying to sort that out, a lot of magical power. They've been working pretty hard.
It's crazy, dude.
And then there's this,
there's an agreement.
Assault Lord.
Yeah.
The Salt Lord's all like, I think this is pretty public record, is all like, I want to join the Empire and become Leaguish, and everyone here, so Leaguish Orcs, which is a whole other conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
And if they want to be, there's lots of caveats, people, lots of caveats. I won't hit them all here. This isn't going to be that much of a detailed conversation. But that the Salt Lord, she wanted to join the Empire, but as the League, and it was like, Oh my god!
Basically, giving the territory to the league and Urizen like losing it essentially.
Yeah, and losing rights to it.
Historic claim to it.
They would become like that's who looks after that area. That's what the culture.
Man, and bear in mind, Urizen's taken a kicking for a long time, right?
It's
and
very interesting to see how different nations behave.
Yeah.
So I went in, I listened, and I was just like, man, like if Urizen are against this, then I'll probably help them out with a vote, and if they're down with it, then I'll support it.
Yeah.
And they were like, we had a whole meeting of the nation, which must have been like all 4 of them.
That's a terrible thing to say. There's loads of there's so good. Like the quality.
No, I love it because there were so many good Euros.
I hate that meme actually.
Yeah,
dude.
I hate the meme. It was low hanging fruit. I did it anyway. I kind of regret it a little now, but not as much as you should do. Like, I'm still kind of pleased with myself.
No, but like, dude, there's this, as you said it perfectly before, the different vibes of the different nations and the way they do things and the way that people allow themselves to embody that, right? Like
Urizen have made me feel bad about making jokes against Urizen because there are so many nice Everyone I know in Urizen is really nice.
They're fantastic people.
Like everyone I know in Urizen is really nice.
Honestly, I'm super gutted. I've not been there for 2 summits. Like it's the first time I've not been there for a stretch and not engaged with the play there. I love it so much. Like, and what a crazy piece of drama that was.
For them to be like, hey, we're chill, we're gonna fucking give up this area so the league can have it, so we can have more territory as like Urizen.
Yeah.
The center of Hakinia sees you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's badass, dude.
We love it. I turned around for a bit, by the way. I'm like moving around the place. Me and Agni go to gym club. Can't see anyone in there that we we went to Jim's place, by the way, and had all the music.
Nice.
It was fucking baller. Anyway, went to the gin palace, didn't see anyone there that we need to speak to. Load up on a gin, drank a gin, then poured another gin, and then headed off to the smut reading.
Right.
I feel double primed is how you should approach a smut reading.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't say too much about the smut reading this time. Stick with our word from last time, but it was very good.
I'm just saying it was excellent. I even bought stuff with me.
You did? You bought material?
I bought material this time.
And it was...
For the group's approval.
Yeah, I think the group enjoyed it.
Oh, there's a fucking calendar with me in it.
So good. So good.
It's a very racy affair.
I heard at one point there was some stuff with me, but which was hilarious. But
dude, there's this world of, because we fuck around, right? We're just having a good time.
Yeah.
But there are like, when people bring out, I saw someone bring out a battered copy of some smut, and then someone yell across, "Is that a first edition?"
That was me.
So someone else there.
So one person brought it out, and it was basically announced it was a first edition, first printing of Captain Prospero, in very used condition, and I was like, I remember like basically like exclaiming, "Is that a first edition?" And then turning around to people around me and basically describing the importance of the piece. Because it was old school Captain Prospero, and then when we read it, it was Captain so Prospero. Good, right? It was like people calling out like, "You got to respect the OG," and it was just so funny because we also did all these other readings, different sort of more newer stuff and later stuff, and it was all fantastic. By the way, I love actually how the vibe is in the place. It's so fucking good.
It's wholesome and perverted. I then headed off and I went back to Chin Club, and there was no one there, so I drank a couple more gins. I spoke to a couple more people. No one was there. The person I wanted to speak to wasn't there. Right. So then I headed up to a nation, I should say,
okay,
to go and find this person, and I couldn't find that person. Right. And then basically I headed to bed.
Yeah.
Whereas, what did you do?
So I went to the...
It's late, by the way.
It's late, yeah.
This is like after 1.
Yeah.
Talus is still...
Oh, yeah. So I'm heading off to the Fireball to go and see like the end of that. Kind of head there, sort of mingle for a little bit, just chat to people, like sort of last sort of songs and stuff. Then head to which is awesome, by the way. Just I arrived right at the very, very end. Then head back, bump into a whole bunch of awesome people, and we just basically start like a little walk down to, I think we went, and this is, I think, because at this stage things go into like a little bit of a tour around the Empire with lots of drinking and fun sort of montage. We go to like, I want to say the Wintermark and Dawn kind of areas, partying around there. I head off back into Brass Coast, partying around there. I think I might have ended up moving through either the League or the Marches. I can't remember. Just
I'm doing fun. Empire wrong. I'm 100% doing Empire wrong. You have a significantly better time than I do. I would say it right now.
But I loved actually seeing you have a lot more fun this event though. And you allowed yourself a lot more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think you found like it's actually I really like the fact that you're doing the Senator stuff, and you are doing it, but you're also not like I think it's like it could be so intimidating. Right?
We spoke to someone from who listens to the podcast, and they said, Talis, I love the fact that you're so out there and you're expressing yourself and you're doing all this really cool shit. It's like, feels.
Yeah.
And it's like, Dave, I like how seriously you take the game.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh.
No, man, it's so awesome though. Like, I honestly, seeing you kill it is great. But no, I just end up like walking around, having a lot of fun, and I headed back to the Entwine Pass, just caught up with a whole bunch of people there, just mingled, heard about the day's stories, caught up with a whole bunch of people, just had fun, and then went to Embercast, and again, just more fun, more chilling there. I absolutely love the Embercast, love the Entwine Pass, just those two sort of vibes just before crashing into the tent and probably waking you up horrendously, gliding into bed and just absorbing a wacky and fun-filled Saturday. So much drama, so much... Like, the weird thing was about the number of things I missed, but the whole day was full.
Oh, by the way, I want to say, your Shandy game is off the hook.
Yeah.
You know when to swap out for a Shandy.
Yeah.
And when not to.
Yeah, you have to ride a certain level, I think, and that's how I have to do it, basically. Because I'm a thirsty boy. Especially in heat like this, I'm an extremely thirsty boy. But one of the things, like, I basically hardly got to interact with the Navarchas at all, and they just killed it all event, right? Kaylee's back, and Kaylee and Silver are working together, and the whole group's working together. They're organising skirmishes I should have said earlier on the battle. They were fantastic to work with, and the command structure and stuff. And basically, we had wings of the unit and things, but like, seeing them all just do really well, and to know that I've been like kind of part of it, right, is like so fun to see all of these people step up and take on all these little roles and things and just be like so good. And like, I am horrendously inefficient, and it's great. It was a really nice sort of thought of like, oh man, yeah. Like, it doesn't... like
you had a part in something.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't need me in that sense, right? And it's like, it's okay, right? It's okay. Like, because I like, obviously I stand to step down and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, it's the group's all right, and everyone's having loads of fun with it. And that was such a relief to like hear from people that was the case, because I felt really guilty that I missed the Navarchas meeting, for example. Like, that's the thing, you know, I literally dropped food off for it and stuff, and I felt really guilty. I hardly saw any of them, but like...
You missed the funeral.
I missed the funeral. I missed so much stuff. Well, the funeral was a whole other level. But yeah, no, everyone was amazing. Dude, it was great. Saturday's a fucking hype.
Man, it's a really full day, despite the heat.
Yeah.
Got lots of kind of little bits done, and it was nice.
I'm certain I've missed stuff out, but it was like that kind of day.
I definitely missed stuff out.
Yeah. But sure. What a time. What a great time. Join us on Sunday, I think.
Yeah, Sunday when we'll thank patrons, actually, properly.
Yes.
And we'll finish off with the Sunday battle and the Barons.